But as far as that place at Thurman Chatham, we've had a lot of stuff happen there. The the hitting the car that happened twice, and these were not taps. These were like bam, right, and bam, 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 and I'm thinking. I mean, for the amount of time, I don't know the exact number of times we went up there, but for the number of times we went, even estimated, for the number of times something happened or we caught something, was pretty high.
It's pretty high. Even when we went to neighboring Stone Mountain,
Yeah, we
which is
saw
right down
stuff
the
over there.
road,
Yeah.
it was high that something interesting happened out there. We got some really good evidence
So,
there
yeah.
as well.
So the rest of the story for this, what was a hunter safety area, because there's game lands down the street. We went back last year. Was it last year or the year before? I'm not sure. It was last year, I think. And people will park there because there's a trailhead not across the street. So people will park there and walk the trail and leave their cars there overnight. And some people would, I don't know if they were partying or.
Some people would still be camping.
Yeah,
they
they'd
put
kinda
these
camp back in
concrete
there.
barriers
Yeah.
around it. I
besides-
ended up finding out when they closed it down, they actually called it the Basin Creek camp area. That creek that runs alongside is
Right.
called Basin Creek. And we after they shut it down, I mean, we went and camped at least once or twice there, but now they got the signs up that say
Yeah. So they've
no overnight parking even.
even. So the first time we found out they had put all these barriers to where you couldn't drive back in there and camp, me, you, and Tim and Susan, and this other car pulls in, and this guy's out walking around looking around. I said, "When did they close this?" He said, "I don't know, man." He said, "I've lived around here 30 years. This place has been open at least 30 years." He said, "I don't know why they would close it down." Well, I got an idea why they closed it down. We wasn't the only ones that was banging on their cars.
Mm-hmm.
And people who don't know,
Yeah.
that's my assumption, theory, whatever you want,
That's
hypothesis.
I think that's valid. It makes perfect sense to us.
I mean, they come through there a lot. And it's a shame they closed that down, but I think, who knows what they really did? They hit our cars. Did they do something else?
Yeah.
Did somebody actually see them a few times and complaints? And they're like, screw this, we're shutting this place
They called
down.
the police and the park rangers out there enough times,
Yeah.
they'll just be like, "Bump it, we're just going to shut
Yeah,
this
we ain't
place
doing
down."
this.
Even whether they thought it was a squatch or they thought it was someone harassing somebody,
Yeah.
either way, they're going to shut that thing
I
down. Of
think-
course, like you said on the way up here, the park rangers probably know. They're not going to talk about it. They probably know. So if there was enough activity there, they're going to shut it down. They'll just say, "Hey, bear activity or too many druggies out here," whatever they want
Yeah.
to say. But they've shut something down that like you said, that dude had said he'd been there all his life, and that had always been an area where they could camp.
It was a great spot. It was just, well, you've been there.
Fantastic.
It's right off the road. And you wouldn't think, if you told some long-time squatcher, well, maybe they would know, but say, look, just turn in right here and let's camp, and we're going to have something. I got a good chance of something happening. They'll be like,
Yeah.
Yeah, up on top of it, the Blue Ridge Parkway runs at the Virginia border. You got farmlands all along that road. At the end of it, you got Stone Mountain State Park. And then we're right in front of that place is right in front of the Dalton Recreation Area. And then Thurman Chatham's right.
yeah,
up
the
there.
game lands are right there. The game lands, the park, and Dalton Recreation Area. That is a
It's
huge
just that
area.
you put it all together, it's huge, man.
And the first time Dwight and I ever squatched together,
Yeah,
ever.
we went. That's the first place you took me to.
First place I took him to with Jason, the
Jason,
guy I
yeah.
work with.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, we're going to stay up all night. We're just going to, that's
Yeah.
what we do.
Stayed all the way until that morning. We
Yeah.
stayed all night.
Remember, we got bored. I don't know. It was over in the morning, 2, 3 o'clock. I don't know. And we walked across the street to walk up that trail. and we found footprints. We found footprints like this. Mm-hmm. And it was like,
You're saying they were that deep?
no, they were that little.
Oh,
Detailed. We found big prints and we found little prints.
okay.
Hey, you put your tobacco beside that one print and took a picture of it. That was a good one. I remember you had your thermal monocular, and I had the latest state of the art cell phone. I don't know what you had at the time, but it wasn't on that level. You're like, hey man, I got a question. Can you film the screen of this with that phone? And so we put it up there, and yeah, I mean we got it on there, and then that gave us the idea, and we rolled with that for a while, and actually you set up brackets to where we could fit it, and we could have the phone film it, and then of course later on we got what we got now, which was just pretty cool.
Yeah, I made an L bracket to mount the thermal to, right?
Right.
Put an adjustable thing in it, and then I put Velcro on the back of my phone and Velcro on the L, and I made a little lip, and I cut a little hole to charge it with, and all.
Right.
So I could adjust it, and I could adjust that camera to where it would look through the thermal, and I could hold it up and do this, and I could not only could I see it without putting it to my eye, we could all see it, plus we could record it. I could do screen recording.
Right.
So that was an advancement, you know. It was like, and not only that, but if you had a signal, you could go Facebook Live.
Tommy Cooper loved that.
We did and this was early on, you know.
Right.
This was 10, 12 years ago. And remember when we took the pontoon out?
That was probably the first time.
That was the first, so we rigged that up, and we were just talking back and forth like, I didn't even know how to go Facebook Live.
Either.
We were sitting there on the boat, and we were pressing buttons like, shit, we're on Facebook. and people were, it was from my page, personal page, and people were hitting up, where are you at? What are you doing?
Yeah.
So that was the Thurman Chat. That was a great spot. I hate they shut that down. Yeah. So we have 5 or 6 fairly productive spots. And we just kind of rotate them around. I know, but you know, you could do that. I mean, and I understand, I've heard people tell us or say, not tell us, but say in the past, like, well, don't take a camera and don't take anything metal and da-da-da, da-da-da. And it's like, and you'll have more things happen. Well, even if that's true, I don't care, because we've had things happen. Now we go a lot, but we've had a lot of things happen with guns with us, with cameras, audio. We're a freaking production crew down here. Not that, you know, obviously not like that, but we both got several cameras.
Right.
And we've caught stuff on those cameras, you know, not every time, not all the time, but over the years we caught good stuff.
That's standing right there. I mean, damn.
That's another one. I'm telling you, this is the God's honest truth. Sound like Chris. I'm telling you, Susan and I were sitting in number 10 one night, summertime, but we did take firewood with us because I felt like the fire might attract them. They might like to see that fire burning, right? That was a theory at the time, and still may be. Nobody out there in the whole place. It's like a Wednesday night. So I have my little, Dwight knows, my little trailer. We got the firewood in, and we back in there. And we got our lounge chairs, and it's decent weather, and we got the fire going, and you hear nothing, you know. We're just talking and going on. So I grabbed my DeWalt flashlight, you know, the vertical battery on the bottom. So I grabbed my flashlight, and for some reason, I just jump up, like, you know, you do sometimes. I don't know. So I jump up to go get a couple logs off the trailer, which is from here to maybe that post right there. And I jump up, take 2 steps, and there's this commotion on the other side of the trailer, like scrambling, you know, like, and I didn't have the light on, and it was just like, I could just kind of see this figure, not like details or anything, was like up and gone.
Gone.
I yelled like a little girl. Worse than Dwight and the alligator over there. And I threw the light up, but by the time I thought to turn the light on, there was nothing. There was nothing else to see. But dude, that thing had crawled up, eased up, and I swear I think it was on the ground
Yeah.
because the trailer's like doesn't have the high sides in it.
Right.
It probably don't sit that high off the ground, right?
Yeah.
And I hollered. It didn't holler, but I hollered. I was like, like ah! But I'm thinking, man, and lots and lots and lots and lots of nights, nothing happens, right?
Right.
We know that very well. But that up from there, I hollered. I let one out. She was like, "What?" I said, "Damn Bigfoot was over there." And she was like, "Let's get in the van." I said, "Well, it's gone now." But I mean, though, so it's like, I don't know. You ever heard like Indians counting coup?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I've heard that growing up. They're counting coup on you, and I kind of had an idea what that was. Is it's like the Indians would see how close they could get to somebody without, getting caught.
Mm-hmm.
And was talking to Kumbo that weekend we were down there, and he mentioned that. He said, "Oh yeah," he said, they'll count coup on you in a minute. Like they'll just, and how many times did they do that and you don't know? You don't know because you didn't detect them,
Right.
but through.
Hey, while we're on that topic of the bridge, could you just walk us through real quick the scenario of what happened down at the end of the fern forest where that bridge and the workers had to be told to go home, that they were stopping work on that roadway or that bridge or what have you? You wanna let us in on that one?
I'll do my best. So this was Uwari. There's a trail that leads out of West Morris, and in there, when you get up on over the first mountain, and you get to the next little high spot, trail splits. You go to the right, you go down through there, and there's a nice bridge that you can walk across, and I think that joins, or maybe that is the Uwari Trail, official trail. I think, I don't know. And then if you go to the left, it's a less traveled trail, and you wind back. We walked it right down through there and come to this little bridge. Well, it's like kind of a massive like culvert, and it's concrete poured on it, but it's not like finished. Like
Right, everything was in the rough stages.
yeah, everything's in the rough stages. So we had been on that bridge before. The place we call the Fern Forest, is not far from there, and that's more stories. And we had seen it, we knew what it was, we'd been over it several times. So Dwight is out there at some point in time, and he can help me with this. At the what do they call that place?
El Dorado Outpost.
Outpost. I keep wanting to call it the trading post. El Dorado Outpost. And Dwight's got on a Bigfoot shirt. And this guy stops him and starts talking to him about Bigfoot. And the guy tells Dwight the story of he was on the crew that was working on building that bridge. And they had a Bigfoot like come out where they could see it and throw stuff at them. Like they saw it. Like this thing walks out there and goes, like, "Get the hell out of here! What do you do?"
Yeah.
You're in my territory. Like they see it. They like see it.
Yeah, I love that story.
And so
because it's so vivid, but it's also a story that your viewer at home can easily picture happening to a crew of workers during daylight hours in the middle of the day.
Yeah. So they get in touch with the Forestry Service who they're working for, who was contracting them, or the state. And the state guy comes down there, and they tell him what happened. And he says, well, just leave. Forget it. Screw it. Gone. Done. It's over.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they got paid for the job that they didn't finish.
Yeah. So they knew.
I love that story.
They
I love
knew.
it.
They knew. And it's like what happened today. You know, I had relayed the story to you about working the job in Waxhaw,
Right.
and that me and two coworkers saw a huge Bigfoot in Waxhaw, and like nobody wanted to believe it. And then one of my coworkers that wasn't there at the time relayed to me the next morning that a guy he knew called into the radio station that afternoon and told them that he saw a huge black Bigfoot in Waxhaw. Of course, they laughed at him, but he knew the guy. He grew up with the guy, and he said he was serious.
Yeah.
That guy was not a kind of guy that would call up and give them his name and tell if it didn't happen. Like, this guy's like, look, this happened.
Right.
Like, telling people, like, this happened, you know, like, and of course, people don't believe him. And
Well-
then your
well-
part of the story today is
Yeah. Well, with that being said, how many years ago did that happen? Back in
15.
2015.
It was October 22nd, I believe, 2015.
Okay, so
2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Let's just call it 10 years ago.
Right?
That was the beginning of the story. And then throughout the course of last week, I ran into a person who I'd never met who happened to notice that I had a Dirty South squatching shirt on. And a conversation arose from that. And she began asking me questions, and I was very open and honest with her about everything. And I told her that one had been eyewitnessed as close as Waxhaw. And she, as soon as I said that, she was all over me. She's like, where at in Waxhaw? What road? Da-da-da, dee-da-dee, dee-da-dee. Is it beside this? Is it down this road? Is it beside that street? Is it beside that house? After you had told me the story originally over a year ago, it was located within 4 miles of where I live. So I drove down there, and then I videotaped the house, the backyard, everything I could possibly videotape from the roadside in my vehicle. I didn't get out and go to the house. Well, this lady lives in that subdivision and was absolutely adamant that they have a member of their church who is telling everybody about her sightings that she had there in that subdivision. And this is not your normal subdivision. This is a very large acreage.
Everybody has 10 acres.
Everybody
I do know
has
that.
10 acres. So it's like when you drive down through there, you'll see a house, and then you're driving for 15 seconds before you even see the next house. And then you'll see it be way back off the road or tucked up in the woods. So it's a housing development, but it's secluded, very secluded. And there's a large creek that runs into. I'm familiar with all those woods back in there. They're deep and they're thick. So that happened 10 years ago, and we're still looking for answers.
So you're saying that this lady you met says that somebody in that neighborhood, or the lady who lived where we were doing the job?
The lady who she thinks lives in that house, who's a friend of hers, is the same location telling stories about the Bigfoot.
Right.
And while you were there, you didn't make those people aware.
No, I'm a heating and air contractor, and we were there to do a job. They were finishing the basement, and we were, you know, how the construction process is. We were roughing it in.
Right.
And so we were there several days. We roughed it in, then we had to come back and trim it out. Well, while we were roughing it in, we stopped to take a break, stood out on the porch, and one of the guys said, "What is that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Some deer had just ran out." And I said, well, maybe it's a deer. You can just kind of see him through the woods. He said, no, it's on two legs. And I was like, so show me where. And about that time, he had seen it walk this way. All three of us saw it walk back that way, stop behind this big old tree. So I'm thinking, at this point, I've got 2 years into this. I'm going to get a better look. I mean, I saw him pretty damn good. It was 2:00 in the afternoon.
Right.
Nice weather. And so I run down the hill, cross the riprap, go up the hill, and I don't see anything. I look back at them, and they're like, it went that way, it went that way. So like it carried on. I saw it come this way, stop behind the tree, and they said when my feet hit that riprap, it went, choop, like, and I will add this, like cartoonish, like I ain't never, yes, like I have never, I mean, it messed them up. I mean, I knew they were out there. I didn't know they were there, but I knew a lot more about them than they did, and they were aware of what I did. And it messed them up. They were like, man, Bob. So I can't even believe what I saw. But one thing that I saw it, and they said, quote, when your feet hit that riprap where the pond empties, it took off. And I don't care what anybody says. I'm telling you in front of God and everybody, the way we measured it up from where the limbs were that it had walked in, it had to be 10 feet tall. If it was an inch, it was 10 feet tall.
Right.
Massive, huge. And it moved like...
And you said it was very muscular.
Yeah, it was like... I've seen others. The first one I saw was more of a slender, comparatively slender type build. I'm thinking it was probably younger, but it had some height to it. It wasn't this tall, but it had some height to it. And this one was like, you take a muscular, not a fat, a muscular NFL lineman and blow him up.
Yeah.
And that's what it looked like.
Right.
Like we could see, like there was some sun shining on part of it. You could see like hair. It wasn't fur. It was like hair, like the muscle. I mean, like, I mean, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Crazy, like insane, like I knew they were real, and I had seen one at that point. Found some other evidence, but broad daylight, you could tell from there it was huge. When I first saw it, I didn't know how big it was, but when we started comparing, and I told you I got my rangefinder, my hunting rangefinder, and
Right.
it was like the furthest, because of the trees behind it, the furthest away it could have been was like 106 yards, like 96, 97 to 105, 6, right in that range.
Right.
Because he was in between trees. So exactly the point, I don't know. But, I explained like how big it was. It was.
Well, that's a great story. And to everyone out there, if you like this type of content, all we ask for you to do is subscribe, like, share, follow, and hit that notification bell. That way you'll be informed every time we post a new clip. We currently to date 27 videos, and we're not even close to stopping.
We're just getting started.
So these are going to keep coming out to anybody out there who
cares or is interested
or finds us somewhat amusing or completely nuts.
Is what it is, brother. Is what it is.
And but yeah, definitely like, share, subscribe, and follow. We need your help. We're trying to get the real word out. We're trying to get the honest North Carolina opinion going out to you guys, so that you see where we're at, and back it up with as many facts and photographs and everything is or audio and night vision, thermal images as humanly possible. So keep us in mind. Keep us in mind.
Until next time, stay safe
And stay adventurous.